Why do we pray for things to happen when God already has a plan?
This is a good question, a question that is common. So a couple of things to think about. Number one, we believe that God is sovereign, which means basically he's all powerful over everything. But sometimes we forget that God is not only sovereign over the end, which basically means how everything is going to turn out in the end, but also over the means, which is the road or the path that we take to get to the end. And so one of the reasons that we pray is because not only do we just kind of say, okay, God, we know that you know how all this is going to end, you also want to take us on a certain path to get to that end. And one of the ways that you have given us in walking that path is prayer. And so that's one of the reasons that we pray, so that God can actually have the benefit and the blessing of answering us in our prayers. And this leads me to the second thing. I have had so many conversations with so many people over the years who sometimes won't ask somebody something because they think they know how they're going to answer. And one of the things that I've had to say to people again and again and again is give them the dignity of asking them the question. Even if you think you already know the answer, at least ask it. You don't got to be rude or pushy. Just ask, because sometimes what you think they will say is not what they're going to say. And so God already knows what's going to happen in the end. Here's the question of prayer. How are you going to know unless you ask?
You know, it makes me think of that passage that we talk about frequently in Romans chapter 8. That God works all things together for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So we know and we accept, we believe that God can work good things and he can work bad things. He can work all things together for good. You realize that also means your prayers. God can work your prayers, your requests, your heart's desire, and he can work all of that together for good. So as Pastor Zach said, the issue isn't can God work through our prayers? Will he answer our prayers? The question really becomes, are you and I willing? Do we trust enough to ask him?